So, without further ado, these are 5 guys that I would marry if I was a chick. Okay, and there's me walking down the aisle with my newfound groom who is going to make me happy for the rest of my life. So these are all guys that, I don't know, I guess if I was a chick, I would find really positive qualities in. And so if you could picture old Raymanator, as I am in that picture, as you can see, I make a really hot chick. I'd like to introduce to you 5 guys that I would marry if I was a chick. Now, who is the first guy that I would marry if I was a chick? If I actually had not a penis, but a vagina. The first guy that I would marry if I was a chick is this man. Oops. Boom! Mr. Brady. Yes, Mike Brady. Now this guy was a real stand-up guy. Now, yes, I know he was gay in real life, but we're in the fantasy here, guys. So stick with me in the fantasy. Now, why Mike Brady? Well, first of all, Mike Brady, he was an architect, right? So had a good job, good career, pretty good career. All the boomers would definitely like, oh, you know, he's got a good career and he's been to college, so marry him. Very even-keeled guy, right? Like, didn't really, like when Mike Brady got mad, he just got stern, right? He was just like, well, you know, Jan, your mother and I are going to have to punish you for that. So, you know, you married to Mike Brady. He has a good job. I mean, the guy can fucking support 6 fucking kids off an architect's salary. So that's pretty impressive. And a fucking maid. And you wouldn't really have to worry about him beating you or getting drunk. Like what was Mike Brady like when he did get drunk? I bet you he was like, well, I feel a little tipsy, Carol. Maybe we're going to have a bit of a wild romp in the sack tonight. And that's another thing about Mike Brady, too. Those Bradys were fucking horny. I don't know how many episodes of the Brady Bunch ended with these guys screwing. Now, I know they didn't show them actually having sex, but how many Brady Bunch episodes ended with Carol saying, well, I know I like your sausage, Mike Brady. And then, you know, the credits rolled. So Mike Brady must have been great in the sack as well. Probably had a big little schlong himself. So think about it. The guy was a great husband, didn't get too mad, probably didn't beat Carol much. Just kidding. He supported 6 kids, and he had an even-keeled temper. So Mike Brady, if I was a chick, I'd be your woman. All right, this is a very weird segment, but I'm a very weird guy. Okay, number 2. Let's see, who should we pick as number 2? Okay, number 2 guy, maybe in no particular order, that I would marry if I was a chick, is this dude. Yes, Rocky Balboa. Yo, Adrian, I did it. Now, of course, this stream has a very Rocky-centric theme, as you know. And look, come on. What woman, I truly don't believe there's one woman on the planet that wouldn't marry Rocky if he wanted to marry her. If number one, he's strong. He can take a beating. I mean, Ivan Drago beat the living shit out of him, and he was just a little kooky at the beginning of Rocky 4, and then he got serious again, No, he stayed kooky after Drago whipped his ass. But, you know, you'd be able to pull a fast one on him, you know. I not to say that I can, condone pulling a fast one on your husband, but he was loopy enough that you could probably, tell him, oh, yeah, Rocky, I only paid, $2,000 for this tennis bracelet that looks like a snake, but don't worry because it doesn't bite. And he'd probably be like, oh, that's great, Adrian. $2,000, it ain't too bad. Another even-keeled guy. Now, you never saw Rocky get too angry. And certainly if he was ever angry at Adrian, it's not like he'd hit her. I mean, a guy like Rocky who can punch as hard as he can knows his strengths. So there's no way that Rocky would ever hit Adrian. Wasn't much of a drinker, right? You see the theme going on. It's like you don't want a husband that's going to get drunk and beat you. I think that's the kind of theme we're going on. And I mean, look at the sensitive look on his face. I mean, just a sensitive guy. I mean, talk about a guy that is strong on the outside, but just so tender-hearted, right? And you, I mean, look, you'd never had to worry about anyone would anyone fucking with you if Rocky was your husband, right? If anyone invaded your home, think about it. He'd just transform into Rambo and kick his ass. So Rocky, hats off to you. The Raymanator as a chick wants to marry you. We'd make a great couple. Okay, so the number 3 guy that I would marry if I was a chick is I wish if I was a chick, I'd want my husband to do this to me. Pauly D. Yes, Pauly D. Now, I love Pauly D. Look, I might marry him as a man. Why not? The thing I love about Pauly D is that he is the most. He's, you know how they call him on Jersey Shore, Pauly Positivity, and he is. He's always positive with every anything that happens. He's always laughing. The thing I love about Pauly D is he has a great sense of humor too. And now he's a millennial, but he's an older millennial. He's one of those millennials that is like 1 year away from being a Gen Xer. Okay. Never marry a millennial. Those people, I mean, it's like marrying a boomer. But Pauly Positivity, look, Gen Xers, I still consider him a Gen Xer because he's right there on the cusp. So he has my sense of humor. He still likes kind of gross out, stupid humor. His hair has not moved in years. I believe this man came out the womb with that hair. So you wouldn't have to worry about him balding. He's still in great shape if you see him. I mean, God, the original Jersey Shore was what, 12 years ago? Probably more or less, I don't know. But he's still in great shape. And look, he travels a lot. So if you're the type of woman that's like, sometimes I just need a break from him. I can't, when he's around all the time, I just get like in a bad mood. He goes on his little DJ gigs. But when he comes home, I'm sure he'd bring you something. Like if he went to Detroit, he'd probably bring you a souvenir from Detroit. And he's just a real positive dude. And women, never marry a dude that's a downer. Like, I feel sorry for women that marry guys that are like, I just don't know what's wrong, honey. I'm just like really depressed right now. Like the boss is really riding me at work, so I just need to be alone. No, not Pauly D. Pauly D would come home and give you a hug and give you a kiss, and very well groomed and positive guy. So that's why I would marry Pauly D, an extremely positive dude. Okay, who is another dude? We are on number 4. The number 4 guy that I would marry if I was a chick is this dude. Oh yes, Derry. Now that not Patrick Swayze, but specifically Derry from The Outsiders. Now, Derry, okay, now he had his problems. He wasn't the richest dude, so if you're a gold digger, no, you're not going to marry Derry. He was an outsider from the wrong side of the tracks, like us over here on this stream. But Derry, even though he had a bit of a temper, yes, he hit Ponyboy, so I wouldn't have a kid with him. Okay, yeah, he's not one to have a kid with. I would marry him if I was a chick with broken ovaries. Okay, so if you have broken ovaries, marry Derry. But I will say, when he did hit Ponyboy, okay, he apologized like immediately. Like, you remember that scene when he was like, "Where the hell have you been?" And Ponyboy's like, "Yeah," and he's like, "Oh, Ponyboy, I'm sorry," and he chased him out of the house. So I think that he'd probably hit you once, but then if he did, he would never hit you again. So and look, he's a good-looking guy. So if you can sustain one punch, then he'll never hit you again, I guess. And look, something about Derry. I feel like out of all these men, he probably has the most handsomest penis. I don't know why, but I feel like his penis is very well put together. It's very well groomed. I feel that when he pulls his pants down, his penis hair is just as neat as the hair on his head. He's a very well put together dude. And I feel like he probably has a nice, smooth penis, because look at his skin. His skin is very clear and his hair is very well groomed. So Derry is the perfect husband if you have broken ovaries and you want a husband with a nice, handsome penis to match that handsome face. Okay, I'm regretting this segment already, but oh well, we'll go with it. Okay, and who is the number 5 guy? Now, this guy is the guy I would say out of everyone that I would marry. My first choice. Okay, so if Supercharger Boy was a chick, and I was looking for the perfect man to marry, this man would be it. Okay, the number one guy, the guy that Raymina Nader would go for if he were a chick, would be this dude. Boom! Yes, Axel Foley. That is the winner. Axel Foley, you are the... Oh, wait, let's put him up. Let's put him up here. That is my groom. That is my groom. Axel Foley, yes. Look at that. Look how beautiful we look together. Look at how beautiful we... Imagine what our kids would look like. Combine those two faces. Picture my vagina opening up and producing a beautiful, I guess, half black, half Filipino, half Caucasian baby. And you have Axel Charger Boy. Oh, yes, yes. Now, Axel Foley. Now, why Axel Foley out of all these guys? Well, look. Axel, number one, was a cop. Now, look, marrying a cop, and every woman wants to be secure. They want to feel safe. They want to feel protected. And Axel Foley, being a cop, and not only was Axel Foley a cop, he wasn't a uniform cop. He was a detective. He was a kick-ass cop. I don't think Axel Foley lost any fights in all the Beverly Hills Cop series. So Axel Foley. Now, what is so great about him? Well, he was a funny dude. Axel Foley, even though he was a tough guy, even though he was a cop, he would make you laugh, right? This is a guy that would make you laugh all night, but then he'd also protect you, right? I loved his sense of vengeance too. When his cop, I mean, you remember Beverly Hills Cop? The whole storyline started because one of his cop friends was killed, and he went all the way, I believe, to Beverly Hills from Detroit to find the killer of I think it was the guy that made him a cop, right? That was one of his mentors. Well, I think that says a lot about a man, most men nowadays, what do? You help them out, you give them a hand, and they're like, okay, thanks, bye, bitch. This Axel Foley was truly an old school guy, He was trained in the police force, and then his mentor got killed, so he went all the way to Beverly Hills to seek revenge on him. And he did it with a sense of humor. Nothing like a guy seeking vengeance with a sense of humor. And that is Axel Foley. And he is my number one choice. Yes, Axel Foley, if you are out there, and if I ever morph into a chick, let's get married. Oh, I guess I'd have to divorce my wife first. I guess that'd be kind of hard. That's a toss-up, man. My wife or Axel Foley? I don't know, but I may be getting divorced soon, guys. Yeah, that's it. That's my number one choice. But I would say for any woman out there, Pauly D, Derry from The Outsiders, Mr. Brady from the Brady Bunch, Rocky, and of course, Axel Foley, but don't take him, he's mine, are 5 men that you should marry. So any of you single women out there, go out and get any of these 5 men. I think Mr. Brady is dead, so you're going to need a shovel to find him. Axel Foley, I believe, is old, but black don't crack. And Rocky is old as shit as well. But I believe Pauly D is still out there. And Patrick Swayze, I believe he looks like a decrepit tree now. But we can always fantasize, right, guys? Okay, wow, that was an extremely weird segment. And with that said, we are off to break.